What's up, All-Inners, and welcome to another episode of the All-In Podcast, a podcast for casual leaguers. I am the League Dad, and as always, I'm joined by Kevin, Alistair, Mitchell, and groups. Round one, done. It was just, if you're an NA fan, I'm joining you in my just like sadness and once again disappointment. We did get a couple of glimpses of, possibly having a chance, but as far as NA goes, it's kind of more or less the same. And after the first round, I'm a little bit deflated, and we'll get into that because we got to dig into our NA teams. But overall, guys, what did you think of round one action? Thoughts overall? Any surprises, anything you liked seeing, didn't like seeing, et cetera, et cetera. I'll leave it open for whatever you guys want to say.
I mean, I'll be honest. I think let's be honest. Okay, let's all be honest here. This is kind of what we all expected. It's not what we wanted.
Yeah.
But we knew this was happening.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think this is every Worlds, right? Like every Worlds, NA fans are like, this is it, or we put our hopes in maybe one team. We're like, they're going to be the ones. We're going to have this team come out. It's going to be hype. And even us, this time we were like, we're sending 3 like good representatives, we felt like, going in there. And again, once the games start, we look at our teams and we're just like, ugh. More disappointment. It's like there needs to be a meme of NA fans before World starts where we're all hype, and then like after round one of the round robin in group stage. But what else do you guys think about the round one stage?
I think we were pretty clear in the last podcast that if we were betting our lives, we would not be betting any North American team to make it out of groups. So now that we're back to reality, it's kind of like, well, I'm glad I didn't bet my life.
Yeah, I like that you placed your bet and said no analysis, really, just faith, because that's really what NA has to go off of, and our faith can only get us but so far. Kevin, what'd you think of round one action?
I mean, it was generally what I expected. I did not expect TSM to have such a hard time against certain teams. Like, I thought LGD would have been an easier time, like an easier game, but that was probably one of the worst games I watched. I was like, oh lord. It looks like we got exposed for a lot of the picks that we thought were strong here in NA, but I guess like Zillion looked like it just got wrecked by a set of all things. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know.
And even our Shen just didn't look good. I will say that 2 things. I think Liquid played really well in that last game last night, so that would be, if you're watching this in the future, this would be Wednesday, October 6th, or Tuesday, October 6th.
Against G2.
Yeah,
there was game against
G2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they played really well. They played aggressive. They just invaded a level 1. Like, they learned from the bad games they had before, and they're like, all right, let's just do it. And they made G2 look like fools. Clearly, G2 probably were greedy in their draft, and it wasn't their best time, but like, hey, you take all the wins you can get in group stage, and I honestly think Suning can beat G2, so they can't just lose these games for free. And the second major thought is I think TSM isn't this bad. I think they're actually just not. Like, yes, they're not as good as we think they are, but like they're just players who aren't showing up. Like, I watched last night's games, TSM versus LGD. You see Bjergsen try to shoot a center who's not moving, and he's just missing LeBlanc like chains after chains, and I'm just like, what? Like, there was one of these solo kills up in top try where he almost hesitated and just didn't W to finish the kill that he flashed double chained for. And I was like, what are you doing, Bjergsen? Like, are you okay? Like, is the man just shook on stage? It's really sad to watch. Like, as someone who likes Bjergsen, not as much TSM, but I like Bjergsen. Like, I don't understand what's up with him this Worlds, and maybe as we get into it, many Worlds.
Yeah, no, I agree. And definitely we are mostly NALCS podcast, so we'll dig deeper into the NA team specifically. But overall, I mean, are your expectations of who is going to come out on top, after this first round, were they pretty much like met, like, as we expected? Obviously, we had a lot of hope for NA. Reality set in, and more of like our realistic expectations were made. Is that the same as far as the front runners here? Because coming out on top, only undefeated teams are Damwon and Top Esports. JDG is 2-1, which another favorite there. But is there any surprises, or did everything, like, even as far as the top runners go, was that pretty much as expected for you guys?
I think big surprises, just to give shout outs to the teams that were underestimated. Definitely Machi. I was really surprised at how much better they were than I thought they were going to be. I thought they're going to be good because, you know, they're the first seed compared to PSG Talon. We saw how good they were. But they, like, annihilated Team Liquid, and they looked competitive in their other 2 games.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is actually what I expected Team Liquid to look like in all their games, right? Like, beat the wildcard team, XD, and then look competitive against the other 2 teams. And I was also kind of surprised about UOL, too. UOL, I mean, they lost to FlyQuest, which, you know, great as a NA fan, but they also looked pretty competitive against top esports.
Yeah.
Okay, they got destroyed by DRX, right? That sucked. But they actually looked kind of competitive against top esports, more so than FlyQuest. Yeah. So that was surprising too.
Yeah, for sure. What about you guys? Everything as expected at the top of the field?
I mean, for the most part, yeah. As I said, we all kind of expected this. At least I think we did. We didn't expect NA to do well. So
yeah. Now I like, you know, for me, I think, and maybe a lot of people thought that frontrunners would be, you know, Top and JDG just because they were top 2 LPLs, winning back and forth with spring and summer split, and Damwon was also thrown in the conversation to possibly win, but they looked really good. Damwon as a team looked really good. I mean, in their group, it's, you know, I guess you could say, you know, after seeing the games, of course, JD might be their only competition. You know, PSG obviously looked worse with their real team coming in, which I was kind of disappointed. Rogue has looked okay, but again, not to, you know, not in the form of like a JDG. So, you know, expectedly so. Damwon looked really good, and 3-0. I did look. They had the second fastest game time at 28 minutes. They also had the highest KDA of all teams, 2.61. Also had the lowest amount of deaths per game. So they're playing super efficient. And to top that off, they were first in towers lost at 0.7. So in 3 of their games, they are popping off. They're winning fast. They're snowballing games. They're playing, you know, and I didn't watch much LCK, so maybe you guys can speak into this, but they're playing not really like a Korean team, but more like an LPL team, fast paced, aggressive, snowballing, and getting their wins really quickly. And they've been performing well. What do you guys have to say about Damwon Gaming?
Damwon Gaming was my favorite to win the whole tournament. I said in the last podcast, and a couple of analysts have said the same thing.
Yeah, they look good.
I think something they do, like, they look fast and they play like LPL aggression, but it's like this weird sort of calculated aggression that I think LPL teams don't have, where you can kind of find them like overreaching and like kind of inting randomly. I feel like Damwon Gaming never does that, actually. They're the team that makes the really aggressive play with really high tempo plays, but then they don't die red, except Beryl maybe. But Beryl kind of inted against, I think it was PSG Talon or Rogue or something, but that's okay.
Some leeway, yeah.
It was his Pantheon, I think, right? And you just kind of ran it down a little bit. But I would say, like, yeah, they have kind of like, the LCKs really try to capture the LPL style of being like super aggressive in your face. But, you know, you're seeing Gen G and DRX like kind of make a bunch of mistakes and die randomly sometimes and have not so clean games. But Damwon Gaming is the better one, and they just, I don't know. I feel like they're the favorite to win the tournament. They're going to run into, they've already destroyed JDG. They're going to run into top esports maybe in the finals or something. And it's going to be like, hey, these are both super aggressive teams, but Damwon Gaming just makes less mistakes, and they're going to edge over it, maybe. So I'm really excited for them.
Yeah, it's really, really good that you pointed, you know, more of calculated risk. Again, it's evident as their KDA, but not just kills. Like even like, so they had a high KDA, but didn't necessarily mean they had the highest amount of kills in the game. But they had the lowest amount of deaths. So what you said as far as calculating their risk, they pull the trigger when they need to, but they also know when to pull the trigger, and that could be the difference if they're playing someone like, you know, like Top Esports, who is also aggressive, and they just make less mistakes. So I like seeing that from them. And, you know, maybe we'll see more of it to come. What about you guys, Alistair, Kevin? Do you have any thoughts on Damwon?
Nothing else.
No? Okay.
I would say that I think they've been playing extremely well in their group. I think they've definitely cemented themselves so far as the second favorites, even though I still personally think that JDG would top that group. I think that them one is potentially has some liabilities in their bot lane that aren't being exposed right now by Loken Lumao.
Mhm.
I'm curious what the better bot lanes in the tournament will look like. There's some, but bot lane isn't the focal point of that team. So it is like really interesting to see that a Naguri-led team's actually like doing pretty well against a Zoom Kanavi team. So I thought that would have been actually a positive plus side for JDG. And we'll see in the second game. But I mean, as far as right now, like you can't fault them for not making you can't fault them for mistakes they haven't made yet, right? Like you can assume that it will happen, but like as far as I know, it looks pretty damn good right now. So they're looking like at least a top 2 for me.
I also think JDG kind of didn't really show up in their first game as much as they wanted to. They kind of ramped up over the other group stage games. But JDG, because it was Game 1 game and JDG the first game that those teams played, JDG got completely rolled over and destroyed. I really think Kanavi is still trying to wake up and stuff. So once Kanavi starts to get going, I think we'll see a much more competitive game next week.
Well, this is what and this is kind of what I was mentioning last week, you know, with and this will kind of transition into the last team I kind of wanted to spotlight just for a second, and that's LGD. And we talked about this ramp up period, right? Because obviously it didn't work for like Unicorns of Love and, you know, all these other teams like Team Liquid. But for LGD, it seemed to really do them good because they started off real slow. Swept both of their series in the play-ins and now have gone 2-1 and beating Fnatic and TSM, and so they're looking good. And so I think in that sense it has done them good in the fact that they've gotten some reps in, and maybe with this first round JDG can start to pick it up, you know, and they've still gone 2-1, so it's not like they're doing terrible anyways. But I would like to see if they step it up in the second round of this round robin in group stage. So LGD, I'm impressed. I think that it's going pretty good, and honestly, the way TSM is playing, do you guys think they have a chance at all to make it top 2, or you know, judging by what we're seeing with the Fnatic and Gen G? Do you think those two might lock it?
I'll always remember Kevin saying this to me like months ago, maybe even a year ago, where if you're expecting a team to make massive improvements, you just shouldn't expect it. Like,
good point.
The only way
don't set your expectations so high. Yes.
Like the only way TSM is gonna make it out of groups, or actually, the only way TSM is going to get a single win is if they have massive improvements. Because every game they've played, they're behind in CS, and it's like every game, except I think against Gen G maybe, they started off with like 2 or 3 kills, because it's like, yeah, we're going to roam down bot lane, or we're going to get a nice pick and stuff. We're going to like have a big numbers advantage. They're up 2 kills, and they're down like 2K. Yeah. It's like, right. You can't do that. That's just
crazy,
like
because in the LCS, I feel like it was flipped a lot. Like they'd be down 2 kills or whatever, but for whatever reason, they're like even or even slightly up in gold, and I think that's quite the opposite this time around. But you're right, and we'll dig into them a little bit more because I have a lot to say. Being the TSM fan, you know, I've got to flame them. But real quick, let's talk about some top performers and maybe each of the lanes. I'd like to get your thoughts on, you know, who you guys felt like performed best in round 1 for each lane. So let's start with top lane. Who's your guys' favorite top laner
369.
369 for you?
Yeah,
okay.
369.
It's not even close.
Okay. 369?
I think you mean top 9. I think
top
9, because holy cow, that Jax game, I was like,
man.
Dude, I would be terrified. This man is like, yeah, gank me again, try me. Holy cow.
Yeah. Okay.
What a hero. I will honorable mention to Naguri. He clearly was playing very well. He's limit testing a bit in some of those games, like in clear Naguri style, but it's exciting to watch him go 0-2 and still have impact. But 369 is just a monster. This guy is like, They were like, let's camp 369. I was like, no, that's not it.
Yeah,
it's
ridiculous. Don't even try, teams, in round 2. Don't even try. It just looked crazy how you turned those around. And you're right, Nuguri or Naguri, however. I keep wanting to say Nigiri because I love sushi, but that's not not it. Every time I see it, I'm like, ooh, Nigiri.
Hungry podcast.
Makes me hungry every time I see his name. I'm like, but anyways, I'll call him Nuguri so that I don't get hungry and distracted. But he did have a pretty high KDA, even though he didn't get a lot of kills. Again, it goes back to the deficiency that we saw from Damwon. Okay, so but I can't disagree with you guys. 369 definitely the highlight reel.
I think the scary thing about Naguri is he played Lulu and Kennen top.
Yeah.
Those are not meta at all. Those are just some random ass picks.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And he still did well. Yep, yeah. Absolutely. Okay, let's go to the jungle. Who's your guys' jungle pick for this round 1?
This is a tough one.
I don't really have, so I just went down stats and kind of picked somebody. So I don't have necessarily a strong opinion here. I'm just kind of looking at
okay, I'm gonna go Canyon. Canyon, okay. Like I thought Kanavi was gonna be a much better jungler than Canyon, but Damo Game was gonna have better solo laners and better cohesion. But Canyon is just a freaking monster. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So
I mean, I think that's a pretty good argument. Canyon did play really well. I
would venture SOFM.
Okay.
Yeah, SOFM.
The man, he might have lost a game, sure, but like the man was like on a mission. Like his Lee Sin, full tank Lee Sin, I was not convinced. Even watching him in LP, I was like, I don't understand how this works on world stage. And like he was pretty much just solo trying to win a game by himself against G2 at points. And then his Nidalee play last night, like that man could care less about the other team. He's like, I will outplay you. He's just jumping over walls, up 80 CS per game.
That was so good,
multiple people. He's so good. I do think that Karsa played very intelligently, but honestly, Top's just so good. That's like, did he play the best? Probably not. Did he need to know? So like, I think it's between Canyon and SOFM. SOFM stood out more because he needed to carry harder than Canyon.
His worst team.
So like,
at
least it definitely looked like his team is worse.
I mean, Angel was trying his best to make it.
Hey, Angel got a solo kill the other day against Bjergsen. Was it Bjergsen or?
No, just Bjergsen's not in their group.
Suning against G2. No, Suning against
Machi. Machi last
night.
They
just smacked Machi's mid laner.
Yeah, mission.
That's not that impressive.
Yeah,
he flashed. He flashed onto the Azir and got a solo kill on Syndra. Woo!
Nice. I mean,
Angel looked bad.
Yeah, no, he did. He did look bad.
Angel's one of the most solo killed upon mid laners, so yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's fair enough. Did you have any input there, Alistair, or do you agree with these guys?
I do agree, but I also did want to throw Piosik in there. He's also been doing very well.
Surprisingly,
considering that his
really good.
Considering that people's expectations of him are kind of, calling him out as kind of the weaker link of that team, he has played pretty well. All things considering, his kill participation, ironically enough, is
90% kill participation.
Exactly. Yep. So he's in there. He's in there. The team fights. He's getting in there.
13 kills.
Yep.
Yeah.
On who was it? 13 kills on Nidalee.
Yeah, against UOL.
Yeah. Well, against UOL, but yes, he's been very good in his other games. Besides that one ult last night.
I think
was like, we take those.
I think the thing with Piosik and Doran is like they are weaker when you compare it to the other maybe jungler top laners in the LCK. When you bring them to the world stage, it's like, okay, they lose the top esports, and then they're probably better than everybody else. So
I guess when you compare
when you put it in Group D, so like we were thinking, oh, maybe FlyQuest can take advantage of Piosik and Doran, and it's like, oh, you put them against Solo Santorin, they're actually just way better, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, good point. Okay, as far as stats wise, obviously you guys mentioned it already, but they are a good team. But Karsa had, a 19 KDA with, the second highest was Canyon with 8.5 KDA. I mean, this guy was just, he had the lowest average deaths at 0.7. So again, their team is just really good. And, sometimes that just can kind of mask how well you're playing when your whole team is good. So, but I
mean,
agree.
he's playing well. He was
he's playing
one-shotting
well.
people on Gragas.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pretty good.
For sure. Yeah, and it wasn't
Wait,
like he was.
How decisive he was on the Gragas though was incredible. He's
just flash button. He sees someone, he goes.
He just goes. Push the button. Push the button and go. I like it. All right, let's move on to mid lane. Well, who's your mid lane MVP for round 1?
Showmaker.
I was gonna say the same thing. Showmaker.
Showmaker. Yeah, it's hard not to say Showmaker. It would have been Caps if they hadn't lost to TL. It would have been Caps for me just because of how fucking hilarious he is. But yeah, it's got to be Showmaker.
That Jace game literally was 1/3 of his performances, and it was definitely a craps game. Yeah, Showmaker. I would love to say Knight, but he just hasn't done that much. Like he's.
I know.
Fine
Yeah, surprisingly.
Knight is the guy that's dying.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, you would think, but he has had some weird picks too. I think he picked Nocturne one game.
He picked Nocturne mid, Lucian mid, and Lucian is not that weird. And
Akali.
Yeah. He's getting multi-banned quite a bit, and in every fight you can tell there's like a huge target on his back. Like that Akali game, literally everyone and their mom's like, pile on, we have to put everything into Akali, and then the rest of the team's like, I guess we'll take that.
I mean, rightfully so, I guess.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, but he's just not absorbing pressure like Faker does, where he like outplays it. He's absorbing the pressure and his team wins, which is fine. He's like a big decoy, but you can't say he's the best player because he's a big decoy.
Yeah.
We'll see though.
I mean,
Showmaker for sure for me.
Yeah, Showmaker. I mean, absolutely. Again, not everything, but given Damwon's impressive play, he's at a 29 KDA, so it's like it's ridiculous. This guy also has the lowest average deaths at 0.3, so he's very efficient in his play. I think Chovy's played pretty well too. Just his laning. I feel like every game I've seen, he's just dominating his lane. I don't even know how. Like everyone, I can't even remember, but every time I look, he's always up at least 10 CS against his opponent. But again, they've been performing well altogether. But Showmaker for sure. Let's go to ADC. Who's you guys' ADC pick?
This one's a tough one.
Yeah, I think so too.
I thought it was going to be a ruler until last night. He got dumpster by Fnatic. Yeah, this is a tough one.
Ghost
I'm not sure.
Been doing well.
Ghost has been doing really well. I was surprised about Ghost.
I think it's Jackie Love.
He's
literally
it's one of those two.
Winning games solo.
Yeah.
No, I think after
Tactical.
last night where I watched Jackie Love.
Tactical.
Tactical for all of the West, it's tactical.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Jackie Love made Senna look like a hard carry. Like the man had 49% damage share in game 2.
That's pretty crazy.
Senna, isn't that character literally hard capped at how fast it can attack?
Yeah.
Huh? I mean, clearly, like he's getting simped for pretty hard by the team. Like Yu Yan just like suicide Tom Kenching for him and everything. But like, he's really good. Like, and we knew that, but he's just like, yeah, if top ints or if mid ints, I'll still win the game, which is what he did on IG, and that's terrifying. He has so much pressure allotted to him, and he can just A-click into people. I wish that if he played in NA right now, I think NA could get into like quarter semis, just off like slot him into one of the top teams.
Wow. Yeah.
Like seriously, put TSM, you just throw Jackie Love on there. What would that look like, right?
He's a shot caller too. If he could speak English, then he's a shot caller.
That's true.
Yeah. He can actually just mind control 4 people.
Mind control.
Yeah.
That would be great, man. That's the new technology now. Forget translating. It's just mind control. I like it.
Give him Impact, Cobelter, Core JJ.
Hey, there you go.
All the Korean.
They can all. They
don't know about those of you that don't know about LPL, like Top Esports has had this roster for a while, except for the Jackie Love part. Like they had this for Spring Split, and they were like 5th or 6th during most of the regular season. Then they had Jackie Love, and suddenly they just went on like a 10 winning streak, and they won the split. It's not a coincidence. Actually, I think they added him in Spring, but
they added him partway
in Spring. It's not a coincidence that he just became amazing just when this guy comes in. Like he's the shot caller. He like sometimes just initiates or adds pressure, and then he's always the late game insurance. He's like Uzi, but younger and with wrists still intact.
He's one of those people where I feel like he could randomly role swap to like support or jungle and still be the best player in that role.
Yeah.
Like, what if he just role swapped to jungle in like 2 years and then won another world championship? I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, that would be something else. I don't know. Yeah, no, that I mean, kind of like how G2, but like they win worlds like twice.
Yeah.
If you won worlds twice in 2 different roles, that's freaking amazing.
That's a new record right there. Yeah.
Did
Did you see that drama with Frostiran though, where she said like he hasn't proven himself yet? Like Jackie Lo hasn't proven himself, and then people are like, "What does he have to do to prove himself?" At
Yeah,
this
I know,
point?
right?
He's win worlds again.
People were pretty bad about that.
I'm wondering now, has there ever been any player that's won worlds on 2 different teams? No. Right? Okay. All right.
No.
Just wondering. But anyway, so yeah, I believe Jackie Love is the MVP here, even though he did have the second highest KDA, but he freaking had, I think I put him down because he had the highest damage percentage at 36.4%. Like you said, that Senna game, he had like a crazy, ridiculous damage percentage, and he had an 88% kill participation. So like you said, shot caller, he's there, he's going to make the moves, and it's definitely neat to see the ADC be the shot caller and play crazy like that. Yeah.
I think Deft deserves some credit in that conversation, because I think a lot of us were expecting Deft to not come in super looking great.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked really good. Even when they lost to Top Esports, he looked really good.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and then Deft was like the reason why they absolutely dominated against FlyQuest in that last game. Even when FlyQuest was pulling ahead, he was sitting back, getting turret plates, getting farm, getting kills in the team fight. So
yeah,
Deft, I mean, back issues be damned. He's still a monster.
Yeah. Can't fault you there. He's definitely up there. I believe he had the 3rd highest KD, so he's still performing really well.
And he looked really good in the Top Esports loss, anyways.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff.
Wait, didn't Duke win Worlds twice? On 2 different teams? On
he was the sub on IG.
Okay,
so
he played a few
technically,
games, but it's like 1.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
if
fair.
you're listening to this and do know of somebody who was on the roster like and won twice on 2 different teams worlds, let us know, because that would be an interesting stat. All right, let's go to support, and I got to say, first of all, I love, man, there's so many good supports just playing right now. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on, it's even hard to look stat wise because supports do so many unrecorded things that just, can make or break a team. So I want to get your thoughts on who your MVP support is for round 1.
Mickey.
Oh man, Mickey played well.
Freaking Mickey,
man. Mickey played so good. Yeah.
Even when they lost, he looked like the best player on G2. Him and Core JJ looked like the 2 best players in that game. It was insane.
Man, I know. Core JJ, man, he's looking good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, TL's bot lane looks really good, but Impact just and
Broxa, Jensen.
Yeah, like it feels like NA's issue is that our top laners are bad.
I disagree. I feel like it's all our players are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I disagree.
But like, if you look at the biggest gap, right? What I'm saying is like look at Team Liquid's probably the best team we
Impact
have.
is playing pretty
right
good
now.
Yeah, I
might
agree.
have the easiest group though. I don't know.
That's true.
Do they?
But
I don't know if they have the easiest group. I do think I will say Team Liquid does look the best. But going back to what you said, you think it's top gap here. But let's stick with support real quick because I want to get more thoughts on who you think, the Core JJ, obviously, Mickey X, obviously. Any other than those 2 that you guys want to spotlight, maybe?
I mean, I wouldn't put Core JJ in the conversation. I would just say he looked really good in that one game.
Okay.
But I would say, Mickey X is the one for me.
Nice.
I don't know. Maybe Carrier. Carrier looks pretty good.
Carrier looked worse than I expected, but he does look good.
He does look worse than I expected, but he still looked pretty. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say.
I mean, I think it's hard to measure, like I said, stat wise. Just you kind of got to eyeball test it. I mean, stats do tell something. I mean, I jotted down just Lamau from JDG. Lamau because he had. I think who's their player? Lagao. There's like Lagao and Lamau.
Yagao and Lumao.
Anyways, I picked him just because of his kill participation. He had like a 74%, or almost 75% kill participation. Second highest vision score per minute. He did play Pantheon, so he also has the highest damage out of any support. Again, you know,
farming stats.
It's Pantheon. He's farming stats, but hey, look, kill participation support. You kind of got to be everywhere, and you know, just going off of that metric and vision score per minute, he's getting around the map, making sure that he's clearing wards or putting wards down. So again, just from purely statistical, I guess that would make him pretty good. But again, like I you know, Mickey X has looked great. There's so many highlights I think that we could pull out from that. Okay, now that we're done with all the players, is there any highlights in general that you know, where you were watching this week and you were just like, oh snap, like that was awesome? Because I mean, there were a couple of plays where you're just like, I'll start it off, just, you know, SOFM on Italy, like going in there, you know, getting out alive, just diving in and, you know, killing people and then just escaping and not even dying. I can't count how many times he did it, but he just looked really good as a whole on Italy. You could put his whole Italy on freaking highlight reel and it was really good.
What about that level 2 from Dam 1's bot lane, I believe, where they just randomly dove mid tower for no reason? Was that Dam 1?
Which game was that? I don't remember that one.
I can't. I need to find it, but give me
yeah,
a sec.
find it.
Google that.
I don't know. There's so many games, man. They're all just like melded in my head.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's just so many things where you're just like, that was a good play. That was really coordinated. And I think for me, just looking at all of the games in general, you could just tell that some of these good teams just have a lot cleaner and more confident, like pull the trigger game plan, as opposed to you know, and we can kind of transition here unless you guys have other highlights, but transitioning into like how NA seems to look like, and they draft and like they have a comp but they don't have a plan with that comp. It's more of like, let's just play not to win, kind of play to get objectives. That's what it feels like to me. I feel like they're not really playing proactively, more of like, let's not make a mistake, or let's set up for these things because that's what we're supposed to do, as opposed to here's what we're going to draft, here's how we're going to play it, and here's our game plan, let's go. Whereas I've seen other teams do that. Go ahead.
I think I don't know. We talked about it already, but like you already said SOFM in Italy. I mean, SOFM Lee Sin, even though they lost the game, his Lee Sin was just really crazy, man. He just like jumps in on like the worst looking Qs, and he lives. He kicks somebody. He dashes around. I think it was a dragon fight where he like, it really looked like SOFM or Suning was gonna lose that dragon fight, and they're gonna lose the soul. But then like SOFM, he like has this Q that he has on perks, I think, that he holds to the very last second, and then he flies in. He gets this really weird kick angle where he kicks the Nautilus into the whole team, and then his Q is right back up, and he gets another kick, and he kills perks. Yeah. And I was like, holy crap! He's carrying on Tank Lee Sin. He just killed their whole team by himself, and then they get the Ocean Soul, and I was like, he just won them the game. Like if they didn't get that Ocean Soul, you know, G2 could have won, and then they actually did win against Ocean Soul. But it was looking pretty over for G2 that game. Yeah, for sure. So that was crazy.
I got a play for you. Mickey X, speaking of, Hail of Blades, and solo killing, using his ult and solo killing Bruce. I think it was Bruce, right?
You watched Perks walk by, like, no, this is mine, by the way.
Yeah, so there you go. Highlight.
Eats him.
As a support main, that makes my day, and it makes me want to play Hail of Blades Tom Kench. You know, that was, you know, pretty interesting. They, you know, just to proc that his passive faster, or his whatever that fish thing is. You know, I didn't expect to see
balanced.
That. Yeah,
that's so dumb. That's not balanced at all.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, an acquired taste. So that just popped up to me.
I did find that play.
You did?
It was Rogue's bot lane against PSG Talon.
Okay. I skimmed through that game because it was a Giga Stomp, but that's impressive.
First Blood was. I'm sorry, I don't think it was First Blood, was it?
You said it was Rogue against PSG Talon.
It was the second kill. They just randomly dove mid. They hard pushed bot lane on like the second wave, and then just roamed mid lane, killed him between towers.
That's funny.
Oh, I think I do remember that.
Out of nowhere, Callista Rakan. It was hilarious.
Out of nowhere, yeah. Okay.
You just see the mid laner ping like MIA, like, where's my MIA bot lane? Hello. It's level 2.
They pushed the first two waves, got level 2, roamed mid, dove tank.
Yeah.
Killed him. walked out.
I think there was also the Mickey play on Bard where he basically like 1v1'd Angel on Suning. He stunned him with Bard, and then he ulted him. And then as Angel's running away, he Bard tunnels across and he pink wards the blast cone and then stuns him again. Basically 1v1'ing the Syndra.
All right.
Yeah.
Supports aren't balanced.
Yeah. So
I love it.
Those are the highlights.
As a support
I don't.
I love it.
I want a lane.
I enjoy watching it. I will say the Genji LGD series should just be a highlight reel in itself. That game was just like balls to the walls action, and at the end I was just hyped up through the whole game. It was really exciting. I think that also I wanted to say that I don't think any actually. I still think we sent 3 good teams this year to Worlds. I just think the level of Worlds is way higher than it's ever been, and like that's why just every group looks doomed. Even like Liquid, who probably has the best chance as of now, it just still looks doomed. Like it looks really rough. So what can you say?
I mean, they did beat G2, and if they beat Machi, oh no, maybe we'll see. But
they have G2 as their first match.
Okay, yeah. I think that'll be
tomorrow.
That'll definitely be indicative. And speaking of Team Liquid, because this is something I did want to highlight, and I mentioned this not too long ago, but for me, it seems like a lot of these better teams can execute a draft with a specific game plan. And by that, I don't mean just like, what can this do like as a team fight team, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, you got good 5v5 fighting teams. You got good, pick comps or poke comps or dive comps, right? I'm not talking about that, but I felt like there were a couple of games specifically that I was watching and I was like, oh, dang, they definitely had this in mind and they're playing it like to the T. And the first one was Suning versus Team Liquid. And granted, Team Liquid did blind pick Twitch, which is not a good move. But I will say that. But I will say that Suning was smart in the fact that they drafted Draven Leona against that Twitch, and not just that, but they also split the map. If you remember, Nidalee did some vertical jungling and then also stayed on the bot lane basically and camped the crap out of Twitch, and really Tactical could not do anything. I mean, even to the point where he couldn't get XP. He was down like a bazillion farm. And that I was watching that game and I was just like, holy crap. Like, this is a comp that not only they counterpicked, yes, but they played that counterpick to the fullest. Like, they didn't just say, oh, we're just going to beat you in lane. No, we're going to take Twitch out, make him irrelevant. And they did that. And, you obviously know Draven's a hard snowballing champ, and they were able to play that. Now, I will say that I think Team Liquid pulled a page out of their playbook because against G2, when Team Liquid won, I felt that they counterpicked the Alistar pick with Set, honestly. I don't know if it's a direct counter, but you could see what it's trying to do. When Alistar tries to headbutt pulverize, basically Core JJ just ults, right? And he gets you out of there. But I also think they played smart in that late invade level 1, if you guys remember that. Alistar's super weak level 1. You have a Callista, Graves, and Set, and they go in there and they make the most out of it. Again, starting that snowball, right? And I felt like they just played it really well. I felt like they had a game plan after they counterpicked the Alistar, and obviously Mickey X still looked good later on in the game, but to me, those were 2 games where I saw teams kind of counterpick and say, okay, here, not only are we counterpicking, but we're going to play from the beginning this game plan, starting at level 1, starting, right when the jungle spawns, and we're going to execute it and go with it. And I think that in those 2 games, you could really see that. So I know that's a long spiel, but it was something that I liked. And, speaking of Team Liquid, I do think they're the best hope we have. Do you guys agree or disagree?
I mean, I already said, I think I think they are the best team that we sent. I am still holding out hope. Maybe FlyQuest randomly just wins 2 games this round. Who knows? But I think TSM's going 0-6.
Okay.
Maybe 1-5 if they're lucky. Maybe they'll be like dramatic. I mean, because that game was close.
Yeah. Back to TL though, the highlight. Yeah. I think about the G2 TL game specifically, because that's the one we're all thinking of mostly. Sure. I do think that Team Liquid, they played their draft and their level 1 really well, and it felt like the game was just in their ball court from level 1 from that first blood.
Yeah.
But it did feel like a ton of disrespect on the side of G2.
They're known for that.
like an absolute disgusting amount of disrespect. You pick an all AD team with Dark Harvest Nidalee. That's just a really bad draft. The J-Smid was useless. Nidalee with Dark Harvest, and then like when you have Callista, Set, Graves come in and invade level 1, yeah, I mean, they're going to lose the level 1 against that. The smart thing to do is just to leave your buff and go to the other buff and split jungle. Go to your blue, take their red, and he would have been fine. They probably could have won that game if that exact thing happens.
Yeah.
But they disrespected, they got first blooded, and they lost their buff level 1. That's all I have to say,
Suits
really.
them, man. I mean, the casters even said that. They said G2 is known that when they play tough level of competition, they step their game up, and vice versa. When they feel like they're playing a lower class team, freaking NA region, they tend to just kind of fart around. Limit test, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
The thing is that we're at the sample size where it's no longer like they trolled the draft. This is just how G2. Sorry, like trolled as in like this is a mistake. This is literally just what they will always do.
Yeah.
Like they just don't respect teams that they think are worse than them, and they have consistently lost games to like Funbu Buffalo. Even they dropped the game to Liquid last year at MSI.
Yep.
And they've dropped games at Worlds. Like I don't think they've ever gotten 6-0 in group stage, even if they're good, because like they just physically as a team will make this, and like that's what makes G2 exciting to watch. But like. I don't know. Like we just can't. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a free pass for them to make shit drafts or like shit plays with their drafts. Like I was watching Yamato Can do a review of the game, and I'm pretty sure he said like this is a fine draft if they just like play it correctly. But then he's like, why are they fighting this invade?
That's
Base
true.
Rush Alistar. Like it's even worse than Aftershock Alistar in terms of level 1 fights.
Yeah, you
and
can't
like,
do anything.
maybe we could do something here. Hard disrespect. I mean, if Nidalee got the smite off, there is a world where they could still win that. Level 2 Nidalee is better than level 1 Graves, but
it's a good play by Core JJ. I mean, his flash
was really
that was really good. Yeah,
really
for sure.
But
Perks was like, oh no.
Yeah.
You just don't, you
just shouldn't
don't be there.
Yeah, you shouldn't
don't be there.
Exactly. Yeah, you just don't be there. Again, you don't even have the the champions for it.
Does G2 do that against Suning? Hell no, they don't. Right? They just leave because it's a freaking set level 1. No.
Look, as much as I hate that they disrespected NA like that, I kind of like it. I like the fact that they just like
I love it.
I mean, who we talked about this last week? Who was it? Wonder that put that tweet out, and he was like, "Are there any good teams in our group or something like that?" Or I can't remember what he said, but
yeah, he said that. Yeah.
He was just trash talking, and to be honest, like I like it. I like teams, or even in any sports, I don't like trash talking when they're trash talking and they suck, right? But like a team that trash talks and like backs it up, like that's pretty cool. Like it makes it exciting and it makes you want to, double lift exactly. Like I don't know, he can't talk in international, but like I just feel like G2 is that kind of persona where they'll talk a lot of junk, they will int some games, but they're still good. Like they will still be. I mean, Perks is gone. They've switched roles how many times? Like, if that's not enough disrespect, I don't know what is. And I will say what I do like is that, obviously they still get good results, but they've stuck with their roster for, I don't even know how long it is now. I like teams that stick with their roster. Yeah. I mean, but that's long. And I feel like esports world, as soon as something bad goes happen, teams like switch out something, but
I will say, to Kevin's point earlier, where he talks about how G2, like, this is just part of who they are. They play worse against worse teams, and they sort of disrespect. It's like, yeah, that is true, and that does happen, but they still make it to the finals, right?
Yeah,
and then
that's what I'm saying.
They also still win their split. And next week, I mean, we can't predict the future, but I'm going to expect G2 to just go completely try hard against Team Liquid in 2 days and destroy them. Like, they triple banned top lane, and then Impact played Volibear. Like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, it didn't work. Yeah. Their triple ban in top lane was completely meaningless because TL had a very fine draft. So I don't expect G2 to do anything like this again because yeah, they can give away some free wins, but they're not giving away free wins against the team that matter, so it's not going to actually affect the result. So
yeah, absolutely. Okay, why don't we talk a little bit about FlyQuest? They kind of gone not talked about as much. I know I saw some of the Discord chatter there. Seems like some people are off the solo train. Mitchell falls out of his chair. What's up with your boy Solo, man? Like, well, first of all, FlyQuest did get a win barely against Unicorns of Love. I was like, what is happening here? This is like the worst game I've ever seen. Luckily, they pulled out a win.
We take those.
We'll take it. But again, they just look, I don't know. I'll let you guys talk. Mitchell, talk about your boys. Talk about your boys, man.
Can you imagine going 9 deaths in a game on the world stage and still winning? That sounds like a good top laner to me, buddy. That sounds like some real skill. Like, if I could hit 9 games on the world stage and still win, I'd say I'm a pretty good top laner. Yeah. I don't know, man. That seems pretty good. But no, yeah, realistically, yeah, it's pretty yikes up there. It's a top diff every single game, except if he's on Ornn. Like, if you're on Ornn, you just auto win lane because you're your champion. It's not because of your skill.
Yeah.
So
he almost had a solo kill.
He was in a counter matchup.
Yeah.
Volibear into Camille against Top Esports, and he died 1v1. That's just you just can't do that, man. It's like level 3. He was level 3, the Camille was level 4, and he's like, I can fight this.
Yeah.
It's just it's just being bad. That's all I can say.
I mean, he doesn't even have a 1 KDA.
Yeah.
He has a 0.9 KDA.
It's really bad, man.
Well, I mean, well, let's talk about Santorin though, because
gold per minute.
I mean, okay, we know he's bad. We know he's bad, but like, what about like Santorin, who's like that's like one of their best players.
He's playing okay. I mean, he's not getting jungle gapped, but he's played Graves in Volibear and Lilia, right?
Yeah.
So his Lilia, I mean, his Volibear was against UOL, and it was like, okay, yeah, you ganked a lot, you did some stuff, and his Lilia in Top Esports game, he got ahead for the first 2 minutes, and then he was completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
The Graves game, I mean, he ganked, he got first blood, and then he was irrelevant. It's like, if you're going to be playing these farming junglers and you don't have better solo laners, it really feels like it doesn't even matter. Like, if the jungler is the main guy who's making the play, it feels like you just need CC. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels the same way with Spica, too, on Nidalee. Like, he's the guy who's playing actually okay on Nidalee, but because his solo laners are losing, he's completely useless on the Nidalee pick.
Yeah, so, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay.
I think that he actually jungle gapped on top of Piosik, I believe his name was, in the FlyQuest game today. I think he played just quite well. It's just, as a jungler, you're just kind of hard capped. Like, if you're a laner, if Sova is like 1 in 5 by the time you've already gotten a kill bot or like done whatever, like, what are you gonna do, right? And farming jungles are the meta, and sure, he could play like a tanky / engaged CC heavy jungler. I'm sure that would be better for their initiation, but like, I think he literally just, him or the coach literally thinks that they can't rely on Sol in this tournament, and so that's why they're putting him on it. Because that is the meta jungler.
Yeah. And
they know, like, he's collapsing on stage. Like, he's supposedly a good laner or at least a weak sider, and he can't do either. This is the problem Solo had historically before. Like, Solo's been around the scene since like season 4 or 5. Like, he's been a solo queue
season 7. When franchising.
No, he's been around in Challenger and stuff. Like, he just has never made it to.
And pro play started on Echo Fox.
He's not a rookie. He's been around forever as like a player on the cusp of being good enough. He's like the Chris, the modern day Chris, where he's really good in solo queue, but like he just never showed up on stage until recently, until like last year. And it seems like those nerves or whatever stops him from performing is just showing up at Worlds, because he's not this bad at home. Like, he's actually
it's on stage, right? It's on stage, quote unquote. I mean, it's not in front of people, but
are these his first major stage
I mean, I don't know.
Like,
but
this is first time at Worlds.
Yeah, it's first time at Worlds.
I mean he played on Echo Fox and he was in playoffs. So he's been on stage before. He was on Echo Fox on stage. I mean, his entire time on FlyQuest has been in quarantine. So this is his first stage games in about like probably a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, I mean, he's playing.
Really bad.
I will say that the game that Santorin on Graves, and he did kind of get ahead of Piosik, was when Solo was actually winning lane on Ornn against Malphite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
it's the only time, yeah.
There you go, right? If
yeah.
Solo actually does well in lane, you have pressure in the top lane, you can actually do well in the jungle. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I agree with you. If you're playing a farming jungler, your success is very tied to solo lane success.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, now let's, finally let's bring on the flame to TSM because they look like hot garbage. I wanted to make sure we didn't miss that because 0-3, they're the only North American team who has not won a game. And they were first place. They look terrible. Bjergsen looks like more of the same in international. Can't do anything. Broken Blade, I didn't even know if he's playing. Double Lift, dying solo on Ezreal in level 2. Again, I'm like, you just got
level 1.
Well, level 1 almost died, and then they hit level 2, which again, I don't know why he was playing so far up. Gets hooked again by Nautilus.
Yeah, why he's still level 1?
Why he's still level 1? Exactly. Wow. So it makes no sense. And also, that's Biofrost's fault for not taking that hook like Dodo.
That's not Bio's fault. What?
If you're a good support, you would take
you
that. You
die for your NT ADC?
No.
Hell no.
He was full health. He would have lived. Double Lift was already he would have lived. That's what I'm saying. He should have taken that.
Just don't be in the way, Double Lift.
Yeah, again, yes. But if you look at the hook, it was a good freaking hook.
Imagine blaming Biofrost in that situation when Double Lift just shouldn't be there.
I bet you,
Mitchell, listen.
I bet you he did blame him too.
Biofrost. The reason you blame Biofrost, right, is because when Double Lift dies, he mental booms because his stats go down.
Yeah, after that, the rest of that game,
saving Double Lift's mental.
The rest of that game, they played around Double Lift. You saw they were trying to funnel resources. They 4 or 5 man bot lane to try to get him back in the game. Yeah, to get 1 kill. It was obvious they were like, let's catch up Double Lift so that he can play, on his Ezreal. But it was just, I don't know. This team looks like, again, like I said, they dropped champions that they think they could play, Senna, Ezreal, and then they're just like, let's hope for the best. Let's try to, not die so much. And that's really what it looks like they're doing. Like, it doesn't look like they have any kind of proactive strategy. Like, what have they been doing this whole time? I don't know. It's really bothersome to me.
If you're playing Senna Ezreal, you need to play around top side.
Yeah.
There's no point in trying to camp that because even if they get ahead, they can only do so much. If your top lane loses and you're playing Senna's irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, no.
Or mid lane, yeah. If your mid laner's relevant too, because you have a Zillion who's losing lane to a set. Yeah, exactly. You just lose.
I honestly think after the first game when they lost on their best champs, Bjergsen was already on this big head of oh, don't let him have Zillion, and then they get crushed. And Double Lift was on Senna, his best champ in the summer split, and it's holy crap, we suck.
Which is a super troll draft. You have no damage.
No.
You just lose the bot side of the map in draft. There's no chance of contesting anything.
Can we just please get rid of their coaching staff? I don't I keep throwing the blame on them, but I still am throwing the blame on them because
is it their coaching staff though? Because it's I feel like Bjergsen was I'm playing Zillion because I'm the Zillion god. They late rounded Zillion, I'm pretty sure, or was it first round?
No, you're probably right. I just am frustrated. That's all. And
understandably.
We've memed TSM drafts. TSM draft has been a meme for years now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Centuries.
And I'm blaming the coaches, but again, Bjergsen centuries. It feels like it. Bjergsen and Double Lift are players that they're gonna get what they want. So it's it doesn't matter who you throw in there as a coach, unless it's Reggie himself. They're gonna be no, I'm going to play this. Doesn't matter what you say, Parth or whoever it is.
Bjergsen and Double Lift are probably the 2 worst players on the team right now.
They're suck.
They really suck. Bjergsen is actually getting mid-gapped every game.
Double Lift
is getting killed in lane or seriously CS gapped, team fight gapped. Broken Blade is at least making plays in the top lane, right? I agree. He's 1v2 against Fnatic, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, he did get 1v2 against Bwipo in the same exact game. But, at least he makes a play. Yeah. Biofrost is not totally running it down, and Speak is actually doing fine in the jungle. He's getting even CS. He's counter jungling. He's not dying randomly.
Yeah.
He's playing like the meta junglers that have priority, like Nidalee and Graves. It's just his solo laners and his bot lane because his whole team is falling apart around him.
I mean, you give credit. Broken Blade's not playing terrible either, but he's just also not. There's just nowhere to play. Like, there's no winning lane here. Like, there's
not carry.
What a move.
Yeah, there's just nothing like you could do. And again, like Spica can try, but if you have 3 lanes that are just hot garbage or have no prio, like it's not gonna. I mean, even when Broken Blade played Renekton, like they still didn't get any prio on that game. So
he had like a 5 CS lead top lane, and then the rest of his lanes were just completely demolished. Like, so it's like, I got a 5 CS lead, guys. I got a plate. Woo! Oh, you're down 40 CS.
I mean, it really felt like against LGD, they were just trying to make desperate plays, like to catch up, because it just looked really desperate. Like, I mean, there was one play where I think Biofrost on Bard hit Tempered Fate on somebody, and then like there was no one around. I think Broken Blade like flashes over and tries to taunt
and he misses
way off. Like, I'm like, dude, you knew that wasn't gonna work. Even if you got the taunt off, there was nobody even near you. Like, it was just a bad. Like, it just looked and reeked of desperation, man. And I was like, it was cringe, man. I was cringing. It's like, goodness gracious, please, TSM.
Yeah, I will say at least they looked better than when TL was losing, because TL lost and they kind of just rolled over and died. They didn't do anything. So TSM is at least they're losing, but they're going in for kills and they're trying to flip it, right? They're trying to make plays. Bjergsen is dying making plays, right? Bjergsen isn't dying sitting back doing nothing. Bjergsen is dying making plays. Yeah, he's missing his skill shots, but he's going for the skill shots. Broken Blade, he is trying to make engages. He is trying to make plays and fights and dying doing it. But
I get that, but you know,
it's their mechanics. Like, it's their decision making in draft, but it's their mechanics that are failing. It's not like their mentality is totally in the wrong place. They're trying to be a proactive team.
Yeah, I guess I get a little frustrated when, like you said, that 5 where they were trying to catch Ezreal, double lift on Ezreal. They 5-man bot lane, but like you're losing so much on the, like, it came out net negative for them. I'm like, you guys got to know that that's not worth, like, especially like, you know, what are you going to, your plan is to get Ezreal back in the game and hopefully he's going to carry. Like, I don't know, like, it again, like, I'm not sure. Again, they're making plays, but I don't know if it just is too desperate. At least they're trying, I guess. But
that play specifically in the bot lane dive, they just missed too many skill shots and juggled the turret really poorly.
Really bad.
Because if they played it better, they get a double kill and they get a bunch of plates in the bot lane. And then they transition to dragon.
True.
But what happened is they took so much free damage and burned all their sums. They got 1 kill, 0 plates, had to reset, didn't get the dragon. It's like, that is just straight mechanics and
agreed.
A failed tower dive.
I agree with you 100%.
They're
all
choking.
Right. Any other? They're choking. That's the best way to describe it. And I'm gonna still say it. I'm gonna up my ante now. Okay, if Double Lift does not just Double Lift, if Double Lift or Bjergsen don't make it out of groups, which it's looking like they're not going to, I'm gonna say neither of them ever make it out of groups. Wait, has Bjergsen ever made out of groups? No, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Never mind. Okay, Double Lift
2014.
Double Lift will never make it out of groups. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean, it's looking like, you know, this is about to be Double Lift's worst performance at Worlds. He's
gonna retire.
He's never gone 0-3 in week 1. He's always gone 2-1
He's gonna retire. He's gonna retire. He's gonna retire. I'm telling you.
Crazy, right? He's always gone 2-1 week 1. That's actually pretty freaking good.
That's good. Yeah. so it's a delayed. It's a delayed. It's a delayed, like, what do you call it? A delayed letdown, right? Because then we get let down too. Now we're already let down, and so now we got nowhere to go but up. So that's fine. All right.
We can move to Europe, guys. Let's move to Europe.
Look, it's all Canada's fault. Alistair posted this Reddit thread, and honestly, there's nothing else to blame it on. Let's just blame the Canadians, okay? Like,
I blame Canada too.
Canada's all Alistair.
Classic American move.
Yeah, classic American. I'm blaming Canada. Is there any other hot flame you want to throw on TSM right now before we predict this round 2 of groups? Okay. Good? Are we good?
Can we just play better,
yeah,
guys?
let's just everyone for NA's
No.
sake, please play better. All right.
Like, I don't care if you lose. Just look good doing it. You know, like fuck.
Flash an emote or something. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Look stylish when you die. Something.
Do a Cody sign. So we have something to remember. Do a Cody
Everyone
sign,
flash
please.
in. Everyone flash forward. I don't even care.
Make it memorable at some point, other than just
Exactly.
Make it
You
memorable.
know, just flip it level 1. 5-man invade
That's
level
what
1.
I'm
See if you get some
saying. Let's
kills.
just do
YOLO.
it, man.
That's how they beat Samsung Galaxy or Samsung
Yeah.
White back in 2014. They just walked in level 1 and said, "Whatever, dude. We're down 0-2. Let's just get some kills."
That's what I'm talking about. Go out swinging. Make it something to remember, because right now they're so forgettable. It's like I don't even know we have NA in here. But
Play Pantheon Talia bot lane. I don't know.
Heck
Man. Do
yeah.
something
Let's
stupid.
do it. Look, if TSM is already out of it, they might as well. There's no point,
Play 5 globals. Just go bot lane.
Or play a TFT
Jinx
comp.
Lulu.
Yeah.
Jinx
Jinx Lulu, Cog Lulu. Just play something stupid, man.
TFT
I don't
comp,
know.
man. Glacials.
Throw
I don't
everything
know.
out the window. Because
Yeah,
if they
forget
play meta, they will get absolutely destroyed.
Dumpster,
Because
yeah.
their closest game was against Fnatic, right? And Fnatic is seriously ramping up. They might be the best team in group stage right now for Group C. They're seriously ramping up. They look so clean against their game against Gen G. So
Okay, let's go to predictions then, since we're done flaming NA. Let's start with Group A. Do you guys want to know what you had, and then you could? Or do you
I
guys
know what
remember?
I had. You
Okay.
don't have to tell me.
I remember.
Okay, good.
You
All
don't
right,
have to tell me. Yeah.
I'm
don't
going
wanna
to.
know.
I'm basically going with what I think it's going to end up how the standings are right now. I think G2, Suning, Liquid, and then Machi. I think that's how it's going to play out. Does anybody
Yeah,
have
I'm
anything
going
different?
G2 Suning Machi TL, unfortunately.
Okay, you think Machi's gonna? I think Team Liquid can beat Machi.
I think their loss to Machi was a fluke. I think it
Yeah,
was just
that's
a bad
same.
draft. I think they're gonna win the second game.
Okay,
I don't know.
That's
I
what
think
that's
they
what
just
I'm
made the
hoping.
mistake.
Yeah.
I think they made the mistake of underestimating Machi.
Yeah,
I think that's just what it was.
maybe. I
Just
don't know.
like
Machi
G2 underestimated us.
Machi just looks like a better team to me, period.
Okay.
Like, even in their losses against Suning and G2, they looked better than TL did. I mean, yeah, TL beat G2, and I would say that's a fluke more than Machi beating TL. So, that's my opinion.
Fair
I don't know
enough.
if it's a fluke when you have a plan from beginning to end and you execute it correctly. It looked like
Yeah,
they
that
knew
was
what they
good.
were doing and they played
Is
it.
it
I mean,
executing
to be fair, it wasn't-
correctly if G2 made the objectively wrong play, though, to stay at level 1? I don't know.
Are you talking about?
Hey man, they
I
did the
mean-
research
I
and
mean,
noticed
the
that
play
G2
would've-
run it.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's true. You're right. The level 1 was definitely in it. I mean, but either way, it would have been a red buff, and then you would be up 15 seconds in tempo. Like, it was still like they played to their outs and they did well. I think it's gonna be. I think Suning actually losing to G2 was a fluke. One wild card, not getting Ocean Soul, and literally Suning wins that game, and they're 3-0 in this group. I think that it's a really close race for first, so I'm still saying Suning's gonna get first over G2.
Okay.
Unless G2 levels up, but again, I don't.
Oh,
know
you're
what
talking
to
about
expect from it.
the first Ocean Soul steal. Okay. So if you're saying
Yes,
if
yes, because-
Suning got Ocean Soul whole 5 minutes earlier, you think that game's over? Okay, I can see that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it snowballs. 5 more minutes at that time with Soul Dragon, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were starting to fall off a little bit in terms of their damage profile. And also G2 played amazingly to come back in the game. But like, you don't 5 minutes earlier, there's no way that you have the outs to win that game. Like,
Yeah.
there's just numbers that won't work out.
I can
But
agree with
anyways,
that,
I
yeah.
think it's just like a fight for first there.
Okay.
I want Liquid to get second. I want Liquid to win that first match. They're the first match on Thursday.
Yeah.
But like, I can't realistically see them beating G2 again. Like, G2 should just go all out, maybe show off something they would use in a best of 5 instead, and just win that match, because they have to win that match, and then they should beat Machi, and then they're in, right? That's all they care about. If they're second
Yeah.
seed, who cares? You could still get an easy first seed, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
G2 should be a top 4 team at least.
hmm
So you're thinking?
So I'm gonna put Suning. I'm
Suning.
still Suning, and I'm switching G2 for TL, even though
Okay.
TL beat G2.
And then you think
it's just rough
TL,
that we
and then
lost to Machi.
you think TL and then Machi.
I think TL is gonna beat Machi, just like
Okay.
Alistar said, and I think TL could beat G2, but like, even so, they weren't gonna win They're not gonna win 3 times. They're not gonna win the
Yeah,
tiebreaker
yeah,
against G2 if
tiebreaker.
that world happens. at some point G2 will wake up. And
if that happens, I am going buck wild on the next episode. I don't even know.
I mean, if that happens, holy shit!
You better have a TL T-shirt plastered.
I will. I'll paint it on my face. I'll write it on my forehead. I'm gonna put TL win hashtag. God. Hey, I'm calling it now. Hey, if any NA team makes it out of groups, I'm writing hashtag whatever the team is win on my forehead.
If any NA team makes it out of groups, I will. I don't know, man. I'll dye my hair. Fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's happening. Like, I think it's just
that's why we can make these bets.
Yeah.
Hotshot GG bright pink, Mitchell.
Oh yeah. God.
I'm gonna do something. I might just get a piece of paper and put it on my head and be like, I dyed my hair.
Hey, Alistair, what was your? I didn't get your rankings for Group A. What do you have?
I agree. It's gonna stay how it is right now.
Okay.
Actually, I think Suning's gonna come first. G2 second.
Okay. Oh, you think Suning first? Nah, G2's first.
Yeah, I think Suning first. Sorry.
Okay. All right, let's go to Group B. Group B. I think it's going to basically be the same.
Yep, same. Well, I'm wondering if JDG will win Game 2 against Dominant Gaming.
That I think would be the only question mark.
That's the question mark.
That would make things so spicy. I want to see a Game 3 between them, just because they won't see each other until like finals, right? With the way brackets work.
Semis at least.
Yeah, minimum semis. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think we can agree that most of them are probably gonna stay how they are, for the most part.
Yeah, I think you're probably.
Except Group C.
The one to discuss is Group C. Group C is worth discussing because they can't stay in a three-way tie. But
all right, let's just predict who's gonna win Game 2. No, who's gonna win Game 2 versus Damo Gaming JDG. I think that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one.
I'm gonna go Damo Gaming again. I'm gonna go 2-0.
I'm going with that too.
I'm gonna join you on that one.
I think they look good, man.
Wow. Okay, that was not.
I'm on board.
We all agree with you, man. I think
JDG's not ready yet.
Yeah.
JDG's an extremely good team, but they don't look that good right now. So you can't give them credit for things they haven't done.
Okay.
So maybe they'll look good in best of 5, which some teams do. But yeah.
Oh, JDG. They look good in best of 5s. They're a very smart team.
They do turn it on in best of 5s. They did the same at MSC. But okay, yeah. I mean, I agree. This Dominant should win.
Okay, then.
I hope they don't, but they should.
So should we save Group C then for last? Because Group D maybe
that was
looks.
A discussion, I think.
Yeah, Group D looks like it'd be the same, right?
Top Esports going 6-0.
Dragon X,
Okay, DRX played
I think they're gonna drop one game randomly.
If anything, it's going to be to DRX. I don't think it's going to be to UOL or FlyQuest.
It's going to be to UOL. It's going to be to UOL, man. I'm telling you.
Top Esports was playing with their food against UOL. That was so
they really were. They were YOLOing it.
They're like, you want to see me limit test? Want to see me do it again?
Want to see me do it again?
Knight is literally like, thank you for eating me. I'm going back out. I'm flying out of the top gen belly. I'm going right back in.
That was so funny. You're just like, I can't stop this, man.
Stop inting, please. Nope. Going in. I think
I had a blast.
Like, I'm just gonna say this, and I love FlyQuest and UOL, but like, I honestly think you could start FlyQuest with like a 3K gold advantage, and Top Esports just still win. Like, it's that fat of a gap. It's crazy. Give Wild Turtle BF sword in lane. Jackie Love still solo kills him. I don't know how, but it's gonna freaking happen.
No, don't give it to Solo. He's the one who needs it.
Give Solo a BF sword on orange. He'll still lose the 1v1.
Wait,
do you guys remember
Give
watching Depth on Draven just get absolutely ADC diffed? Like, he was playing Draven against, what was it? It was a weaker pick, I think, in lane. It was Senna versus Draven, and Senna was like up 10 CS in lane. I was like,
how?
I don't think that's how that matchup usually goes.
Yeah.
Poor
That's
a question mark.
Right. Yeah.
It's a question mark for real.
Oh, that was Deft on Draven. That's right.
Yes, it was Deft on Draven, right? And like, that's a lane bully, I think, unless I'm missing something about ADC meta.
I'm
like,
pretty
did
sure
I forget a numbers nerf?
I'm pretty sure Carrier kind of roamed a lot and didn't get anything done on his roams. He was on Thresh, right? And he roamed mid lane, and he flash hooked and missed everybody. I remember. So that's why he was down a bunch of CS, I think. For that one.
Yeah. You're right. Okay.
But DRX had they almost came back in that game until they immediately threw 5 seconds after. But remember, they got that ace in the top lane.
Yeah.
Where they picked off Knight on Nocturne, and they got a big ace and then they immediately, like, we're in the replay, and then you come out of the replay, and they immediately get aced again.
Yeah.
Or, like, killed 3 times. Yeah. So,
okay.
I think DRX can maybe take a game off top, but it's unlikely.
Okay, let's talk then about Group C. I mean, I think it's going to end up the same way, but you guys think Fnatic's going to... I mean, it is a 3-way tie, 2-1. I don't think LGD's going to... That's just my thinking. I think it's Gen G or Fnatic, but...
Yeah, I think it's Gen G, Fnatic. I think... All right. You know, I'm hopping on the Western train. I'm going to go Fnatic first, Gen G second. And it's a bit of a risk, but I feel like Fnatic is ramping up. They looked really good in their win against Gen G. Very decisive in the bot lane. They destroyed Ruler. Like, Ruler is supposed to be the best ADC in the tournament, and they just camped the crap out of him. It really feels like their first 2 games, they're just kind of playing without much preparation. And then they prepared really hard for the Gen G game. And I think it's going to benefit. I think Fnatic week 2 is just a really big buff. I think they're going to get first place.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they are looking really good. I don't think I would be surprised if they ended up first. But what about you guys? I actually don't really think much about this group because TSM is out. That's all. I actually don't really care.
Wait,
I don't even really care. Yeah, they're not even
the wildcard team.
The wildcard team.
So the thing is, I agree with Mitchell. Like, I think that Fnatic is ramping up in the sense that last game against Gen G was extremely impressive. I also will say LGD has been ramping up as well. Like when they beat, I believe they beat Fnatic and lost to Gen G. They're 2-1. Yeah, they beat Fnatic. Yeah. They looked quite impressive. Like, I mean, Fnatic just was like, oh, we're against a Chinese team again, and then they got triggered. Based on all that, I'm like, and LG had a very close game against Gen G. That was a sick game we watched for that one.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that, like, you could almost say like LGD and Fnatic should be Fnatic first, LGD second in that case. But I'm like, wait, but Gen G still looks good. They lost, but like, hold your horses. I'm gonna go. I think Fnatic does make it out. I think they get second. Gen G gets first. I think LGD is ramping up, but like, there's just too much inconsistency on that team. It's like it's a weighted coin flip to bet on them. Like they could get first in this group, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm not betting on that.
Yeah,
like I'm done with the light starting bets.
I really don't like. I really don't like Xie. Xie is not a good mid laner in my mind. Considering
he
like
might not be a good mid laner, but he did stomp Nemesis. So, he stomped Bjergsen. He stomped Bjergsen so hard yesterday.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
not much.
Oh my.
Bjergsen's getting stomped by everyone. It doesn't really matter.
Oh my god.
All right.
Did you see that Reddit comment that was like, I want to see what it's like for, like, if this is how he is against Xie, what's Bjergsen going to be like against Chovy, Showmaker, Caps, and Knight? And they're like, he's not going to see them.
Yeah, we'll never know because they'll never make, this is terrible. I would like one time, here's what I propose. I know this is off topic a little bit, but we mentioned this a couple times ago. How do we make groups longer? Before the groups start, there should just be one round robin just to play every team, just to see how it goes.
So awesome.
I just want to see, but I would love to see, like you said, like probably get stomped, but how hard would he get stomped? How hard would Bjergsen get stomped against like Knight or Chovy? So I would love to see that.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to on topic. Alistair, what do you think about this group? You think it's Fnatic number 1, Gen G number 1? You don't really care?
I have no idea. I think we're gonna see 3-4-2.
Oh, okay. Well, just pick 2 teams. Go.
Yeah, pick 2 teams.
I'm just gonna stick with my pickups and say Gen G Fnatic.
Okay.
Well,
so here's
that's what I said last week. I'm gonna stick with it.
Here's a bigger question then, and maybe I should make this my bet. Will TSM win 1 game?
No, I'm gonna go with no. I'm gonna go with no.
That was a long pause. I should forget. All right, if TSM wins 1 game, all right. Hashtag TSM win.
Oh God. If TSM
wins 1 game, I'll tweet it out, and I don't use Twitter, so.
Kevin will do his forgotten password, check his email to get his retrieved password, log into Twitter, and say TSM win. That's special, man.
That'll be one of my very few tweets.
Like
TSM win. Think I'm a fan or something.
If TSM wins one game, I will discredit them just like I tried to discredit TL's win against G2. Because that's what it's going to be.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, I'm doing it,
this
though.
is what the other team did to Ints.
This is, so. I'm going to do it because I don't think it's going to happen. But if they win a game, daggone it. Hashtag TSM win.
I'm going to be like, this other team actually just completely underestimated and just did not prepare. They threw 3 bans to Bjergsen, and then you just pick Syndra.
Or it'll be like it'll be like the G2. They totally just disrespected like TSM. Yeah. We're going to get like some Dark Harvest whatever, and I don't know.
Dark Harvest in Italy.
There it is. We'll see
in the mid lane.
In the mid lane. Yeah, flex mid. Okay, well. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about going into, so round 2 starts Thursday. So that's coming up real quick. We should be able to record on Tuesday. I would record Monday because I think games end on Monday, but we'll record Tuesday.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, go for
Rogue
it.
Inspire put out a tweet that I thought was hilarious. He said, when the top 2 teams are in our group right now, like the top 2 teams in the world just happen to be in our group right now, and then people were just making fun of them. They're like, "So what is PSG the 4th best team at Worlds then?"
Oh yeah, that's funny.
So the point of that tweet though, what I wanted to bring up is like, do you guys actually think the top is 2nd in the world right now or 1st? If you're just power ranking, like we don't know who's gonna win Worlds, we don't know who's gonna perform best of 5, but just based on like performance, do you think that it's JD 3rd, 4th.
Yeah.
Damwon 1st. I can agree with that just based on show of power.
Yeah, I think
I'm with Damwon 1st. They beat JDG, so they had a harder opponent for their 2nd place, and they looked better. Mm-hmm. Top Esports, they had a weaker supposedly opponent and DRX, and looked much worse. They almost lost actually. So.
For the sheer fact too that they not only they're both 3-0, but like you said, their stats look clean, man. Damwon's winning clean, efficient, calculated. Like they're not making any mistakes. Like they're dying very little. They're losing very little turrets. They're just smashing. So.
I will say though, they do remind me of old King Zone where they were dominating and then they hit best of 5 and they were just like basically they remind me of King Zone, and this top Eastern reminds me of IG, where like you're not always impressed when they win, but like sometimes they're just like they just don't give a crap. Like they'll be down 2K go. I'm like, you can't do that, right? You can't 3v5 here, and they're like, no,
we will.
We'll just win this game right now.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. I think that one should be power ranked 1 right now. Just like if you don't make mistakes, I can't criticize you. Like, what am I going to criticize? You're too perfect, therefore you're not ready to have flaws. Like what?
Yeah. Yeah. I will say next week, especially if no NA team makes it out, which that will probably happen, we will have to go back to the discussion of, I'd probably be close to, but no, I won't. But I'm thinking we'll have to revisit the discussion of what the hell does NA need to do, because this is getting old, right? Like we've said it every year, and every year this conversation goes up. But just watching the games, it is still very clear that the Eastern team, I mean, not even Eastern teams, just the rest of the world looks good, so much better. Like we're even seeing like the wild card teams looking much better than us. And that's, I feel like we're regressing even more. Like it just looks like teams are more coordinated. Teams just are, executing team fights much better, executing their comps much better. It just seems like we're not at that level anywhere close. So again, that'll be probably a topic of discussion for next time, especially if and probably when NA is out of Worlds for good. But is there any last thoughts before we wrap it up today? You guys good? I think we covered everything good there. All right, guys. Well, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email us at the allinpodcast, LOL@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at the Allin podcast. I just want to thank my co-host, Kevin, Mitchell, Alistair. Thanks again for providing your wise insight. Enjoy the games. It's going to be exciting. Watch them with your friends. Chat with us on Twitter or whatever, comment. We love the YouTube comments. Thank you for commenting below. But until next time, guys, enjoy your climb on the Rift. Try not to be too toxic, and we'll see you all on the next episode. Peace.